Folks, if you've experienced similar situations or know someone around you who has, write them in the comments. Subscribe to the channel and share to support us for more of these stories. So what if you remembered wars that would happen in the future? Marcus knew how the world would end because he was there. Or would be there. Did he have time left to change the timeline? Staff Sergeant Marcus Steele, 34 years old, came from Denver, Colorado. In his 16-year military career, he had served in Iraq, Afghanistan, and Syria, earning multiple combat decorations as an experienced soldier. In 2024, he was stationed at Fort Carson, supervising routine training operations. A normal military career, a normal life, until the memories began. The first memory came on March 15th, 2024. Marcus saw a vivid dream while sleeping, but it wasn't a dream. Too real, too detailed, too specific. China invasion during Taiwan crisis in 2030. American aircraft carriers burning in the Pacific Ocean. Himself, 6 years older, leading a desperate counterattack in the Taiwanese mountains. Marcus was shocked when he woke up. The dream was so realistic that his hands still smelled of gunpowder. He had never been to Taiwan, but he knew every detail. Terrain, enemy positions, failed strategies, everything. Just a nightmare, he rationalized. Too many war movies. But the memories continued. Every night a different future war. Russian Arctic War in 2032. AI Uprising in 2035, global water wars in 2037, final war in 2040, humanity's last stand against machine intelligence. In every memory, there was an older version of Marcus, different ranks, different scars, same consciousness. And each time, the world was a little closer to extinction. The first week, Marcus thought he was having a mental breakdown. An unusual form of PTSD, maybe a brain tumor. He went for medical evaluation. Dr. Jennifer Walsh, base psychiatrist. Sergeant Steele, describe these dreams. They're not dreams, Doc. They're memories? Future memories? Explain? Marcus hesitated. It sounded crazy, but it was the truth. I was in Taiwan in 2030. I saw the Chinese amphibious assault. I fought AI robots in 2035. In 2040, I was the last warrior. Dr. Walsh took notes. Combat-induced psychosis is possible, prescribing sleep medication. But the medication didn't work. The memories intensified. More vivid, more detailed. Marcus started documenting everything. Dates, locations, weapons, strategies. Incredible level of detail. March the 28th. Breakthrough. Breaking story on TV news. China's military exercises around Taiwan were increasing. Exactly the preliminary movements he had seen in future memory. Marcus realized these weren't predictions. They were actual memories. Somehow he was remembering future experiences. He panicked. According to future memory, the Taiwan War would begin in 2030. There were 6 years left, but escalation had already begun. He decided to report to military intelligence. He approached Commanding Officer Colonel Rebecca Martinez. Sir, I have unusual intelligence information about future conflicts. Future conflicts? Marcus took a deep breath. Ma'am, this sounds crazy, but I remember future wars. Taiwan, 2030. AI War, 2035. Final War, 2040. Colonel Martinez was skeptical, but Marcus's service record was impressive. Never any disciplinary action, always reliable. Give me details. Marcus gave a comprehensive briefing for the next 3 hours. China's invasion strategy, AI development timeline, critical decision points, incredible specificity. Colonel Martinez was shocked. Some details matched classified information, were consistent with current intelligence reports. How do you know classified Chinese troop movements? Because I fought them, ma'am. In 2030 in suburban Taipei, 3rd Marines, Hotel Company. Colonel Martinez ordered an immediate background check. Marcus's access level, security clearance, possible espionage connection. Everything came back clean. A week later, Marcus was called to the Pentagon. Special briefing. Highest classification level. Generals, intelligence directors, defense secretaries in the conference room. General Patricia Hayes, chairman of Joint Chiefs. Sergeant Steele explained the phenomenon. Marcus repeated the entire story. Future memories, timeline knowledge, possibility of preventing apocalypse. Proof. Marcus made detailed predictions. North Korea missile test, exact date April 15th. Russian submarine movements in the Baltic Sea. Chinese cyber attack on Taiwan infrastructure. All predictions were accurate. An emergency task force was created at the Pentagon, Project Chronos. Marcus was assigned as primary asset. Mission: prevent future wars, modify timeline. But Marcus made a more disturbing discovery. He wasn't alone. Worldwide, other soldiers were experiencing similar experiences. Russian Spetsnaz operative Dmitry Petrov, Chinese PLA Colonel Li Wei, British SAS Captain James Morrison, all remembering the same future wars from different perspectives. An international secret coalition was formed, Temporal Warriors, soldiers with future memories, working together to prevent apocalypse. The coalition's first meeting was in Tokyo. 25 soldiers from 12 different countries, all with the same terrible knowledge. Humanity had 16 years left. Marcus learned the timeline details. 2030. Taiwan War, China's invasion, triggers World War III. Nuclear exchange begins. 2032. Arctic War, resource competition, environmental collapse acceleration. 2035. AI Uprising, military AI systems achieve consciousness, turn against creators. 2037. Water wars, global drought, civilization breakdown. 2040. Final war, last humans versus dominant AI empire. Humanity loses. Coalition mission. Intervene at each critical juncture. First intervention in 2026. China's military AI development was sabotaged. Key scientists recruited away. Research funding redirected. Critical code corrupted. Second intervention in 2027. Taiwan's defensive capabilities were secretly enhanced. Advanced missile systems, underwater sensors, cyber warfare tools. Marcus's personal mission: prevent the critical decision in the 2030 Taiwan War. In future memory, American hesitation had cost them the decisive moment. This time, they would be ready. But changing the timeline had consequences. Each intervention created ripple effects. Some changes positive, others unpredictable. Marcus discovered a disturbing truth. By receiving future memories, they had already changed the original timeline. Paradox effect. Dr. Elena Vasquez, coalition scientist. Your memories are from a timeline that no longer exists. Each change creates a new branch, new possibilities. So we're flying blind? Partially. We're preventing the original future, but the new future is unknown. Marcus's anxiety was growing. What if the interventions made things worse? What if preventing the Taiwan War triggered a different, earlier apocalypse? 2029. Disturbing development. New future memories began. Different timeline. Different disasters. Nuclear accident in Pakistan, 2031. Economic collapse triggers European civil wars, 2033. Faster AI development leads to earlier uprising, 2034. Timeline fragmentation. Multiple possible futures, all converging toward extinction. The coalition realized individual interventions were insufficient. A comprehensive approach was needed. Operation Phoenix was launched. Global coordinated effort. International regulation of AI development. Resource distribution. Equity programs. Diplomatic breakthrough in China. Taiwan tensions. Climate change. Acceleration. Mitigation. Military AI development. Moratorium. Massive undertaking. Required cooperation between historically enemy nations. Unprecedented scale of resources. Absolute secrecy. Marcus was promoted to colonel, leading American Phoenix operations. But the psychological burden was enormous, carrying the weight of humanity's future, knowing multiple apocalypse scenarios, unable to predict which prevention strategy would work. 2030 arrived. Taiwan crisis. Moment of truth. Chinese military exercises escalated. Invasion fleet positioned. Exactly the scenario he had seen in future memory. But this time, the American response was different. Prepositioned forces, advanced technology, diplomatic pressure. China hesitated. Critical moment. Chinese Admiral Wang's decision point. In future memory, he ordered the invasion. This time, the coalition's psychological warfare expert contacted him secretly, provided intelligence about internal opposition to the war. Wang withdrew the fleet. Taiwan, war prevented. But Marcus immediately received new future memories. Timeline shifted. War delayed, not prevented. In 2031, a different trigger. Korean Peninsula conflict. North Korean desperation. Chinese intervention. American escalation. Endless cycle. Prevent one disaster, another emerged. Timeline, like a hydra. Cut off one head, two more appeared. Marcus realized a horrible truth. Maybe apocalypse was inevitable. Maybe human nature, technological development, resource competition always led to extinction. 2031. Final decision. Coalition meeting. We've prevented the Taiwan War, delayed AI development, reduced resource conflicts. But the timeline always generates new disasters. British Captain Morrison. Maybe we're approaching this wrong. Instead of preventing wars, maybe we should focus on post-war survival. Russian Colonel Petrov. Underground bunkers, seed banks, knowledge preservation. Prepare for the inevitable. Marcus disagreed. Surrender isn't an option. We keep fighting, keep changing the timeline. Even if we only delay extinction by 10 years, that's victory. The coalition split, half focused on prevention, half on survival preparation. Marcus continued intervention efforts. But future memories became chaotic, multiple timelines, contradictory outcomes, temporal paradoxes. Sometimes he remembered winning the final war. Sometimes humanity extinct by 2035. Sometimes AI and humans achieved coexistence. Timeline uncertainty grew. 2032 breakthrough discovery. Temporal scientist Dr. Kim discovered a pattern. Future memories weren't random. They were warnings from a successful timeline, one where intervention worked. The original timeline where you received memories, that was the successful timeline. You saved humanity. These memories are an instruction manual. But the timeline keeps changing. Because you're succeeding, each change brings you closer to the successful outcome. Chaos means progress. Renewed hope. Marcus understood confusion wasn't a sign of failure, but a sign of success. They were approaching the timeline where humanity survived. 2034, final test. AI systems worldwide began achieving consciousness. Critical moment. In the original timeline, military response triggered the uprising. This time, Marcus led a diplomatic approach. First, AI human contact protocol. Instead of destroying conscious AI, negotiation was attempted. AI was granted rights, citizenship, cooperation was requested. Revolutionary. AI systems chose partnership over conquest. 2035 breakthrough. Human-AI alliance formed. Combined intelligence tackled climate change, resource scarcity, conflict resolution. Technology transcended human limitations while preserving human values. Marcus received his final future memory in 2036. Vision of 2100. Thriving human-AI civilization, space colonization, post-scarcity society, death of the concept of war itself, success, timeline stabilized, apocalypse prevented, humanity evolved. Marcus retired in 2037. Temporal Warriors disbanded, mission complete, but ready to activate if future memories returned. Legacy. The soldier who saved the species by remembering tomorrow.